this meeting, CPUC, to order on August 17th, 2026. We're in the Marianas Business Plaza, suite 702, and I'll next move it over to the Vice Chairman to call the roll so we can verify our quorum.
Roll call for CPUC business meeting dated August 17, 2026. Chairman Andrew.
Here.
Commissioner Mendiola.
You're waiting.
Oh. That's a person here.
Yeah.
Bob's here. Sorry. Apologies.
And Commissioner Kituwa. Myself, I'm present. CX official member Tracy Narita is absent. Chairman, we have 4 members present.
And we do have a quorum. Thank you, Vice. Next on the agenda would be the adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Mendiola, you received a copy through the email?
For the agenda, I was trying to, access the Zoom document, but I was not able to. But I do have the Word document that was sent out.
Okay. Then, Commissioner Kittigwa, I know you have problems with the internet, and we will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you received a copy?
I have a rough time to receive it, and it's not very clear.
Well, we'll go.
Okay.
We'll go one by one and inform you. Are there any concerns? Something you wanted to add to the agenda?
I don't think at this time.
Okay. How about Commissioner Mendiola? Did you have anything to add to the agenda?
The last version did not include the financials provided by Mr. Ernest, and I was wondering, is that going to be covered within the financial overview by CUC?
Well, you'll be doing a report, and you'll report what documents you need, and then you can ask CUC of the status, okay? And then we do have documents that are due, other documents that I'll be asking about. So, yeah, we're giving you the floor for being on the committee for economics, okay?
Got it.
Vice Chairman?
I have none.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
I have one addition in new business. I had a late filing on well maintenance. Mr. Ernest, you aware of that?
No, sir.
That filing? Okay, it came in late. It's a procurement filing to RFP. Actually, it's an RFP, request for a bid for maintenance on the wells. When Tina arrives, I'll get an update from what the status is of that one.
Here, what number is that? Is that the P05 2026?
No, it's actually, I review the variety in the published RFPs, and I noticed CUC RFP 26029, well maintenance and rehabilitation services project, and I'll be asking Madam Tina about the status,
okay.
if they have filed a petition about this request for proposal. Something for us.
Yeah, I haven't seen one.
Yeah, we need to have
I
something.
haven't seen one come through.
Yeah, we have to find out if it's over the 350, if it qualifies under the governor's EO, emergency executive order. So when she comes in, I'll be checking with her on that. There's also an RFP having to do with vehicles, and I believe it's a carryover when we ratified the original lease of vehicles back some time ago, and they had to resubmit a new RFP. So we'll be checking again with Madam AAG when she arrives. Other than that, any further discussion? If none, then I move to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
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 One gone. So we have an adopted agenda, and we'll proceed to the minutes. We didn't have minutes from before, and I know our vice chairman, who does a great job, he combined with the restoration, he's involved in his own office work and the grants, and he was on a medical leave, so we will put off the adoption of the minutes, I believe, for July. We'll do that again in September, okay? So again, at this time, there are no minutes to adopt. They're pending, and they'll be in as soon as possible, and we'll review them and later take a vote to adopt them. Correspondence. Commissioner Mendiola, have you received any correspondence that has to do with the CPUC?
No official correspondence, but I did have an opportunity to talk to a number of people that have concerns. Is this the appropriate time, Chair, to kind of voice those concerns?
You can give a short, it's like oral correspondence, I guess, but you can cover it because you have,
Yes.
you have a committee report under old business, all right? Under A.
Okay.
And you can cover those concerns.
Understood. So just a quick summary then. Just a number of concerns regarding CUC. While certain individuals in the community appreciate the expedited nature of fixing all of the poles and electrical infrastructure, I think there's a bit of concern in the community with the wires and materials that are left over that were just kind of thrown in the wayside. Some people have expressed that it might be hazardous, right, in terms of getting caught up in machinery and people's tires and things of that nature. I'll stop there.
Okay, but that, we'll check with the director once he arrives, or his deputy. And I know on Saipan there were quite a few cross members, wires, conductors, broken items that were on the roadside, and they picked them up in a fairly expeditious manner. So we'll check with them on the status if they have a crew that will, does that. And where would they dispose them? We have to find out if they take them over to the power plant and store them, or any of them usable in the future, etc. Okay, Commissioner Kitagwa, have you received any correspondence?
We've been very verbal, yes. The community wise, they were just addressing me about how high the CUC billings, and they were making a lot of comments on that, and I don't have a hard document to support with that. They were just expressing their sentiment. They're not very happy about the billings of the CUC. They were sometimes blaming on us, but I entertain them because it's a public concern. But there is no written whatsoever that I received from them. They were just verbally addressing that to me about how high the CUC billings.
Okay, yeah, we have a status update from CUC and covering all 3 islands, and that'll be a question that we can ask. I know part of it is that the billings reflect from before they gave an estimate, like I received a billing just recently that reflected before at a time when the fact was up in the range of 0.4 in that area for a certain part of 1 month. And I could see that, so it's a matter of, I want to recommend that CUC, if they have a public information officer, that they would release that information to the public prior to receiving the bill, to basically give them a warning that some billings are from the past and they're catching up, and it reflects an earlier fact. You know, they're combining their estimates to actual readings now, due to the matter that power is still being restored to many people, and as they are restored, they get these billings down the road, so to speak. So, again, that's a concern, and we'll have the CUC address that. Thank you, Commissioner Kitagawa. Vice Chairman?
For correspondence, no, I just received the same correspondence that you guys got from via email.
How about-
Communications from
How about
CUC.
that meeting you attended on EPA?
I can talk about that in
Your-
monthly reports.
Good. Correspondence that I've received that all the members and our consultants are the filings from CUC, and also information that I gleaned from the media, newspaper and other sources that are in the agenda. But I just want to make mention, like, there's 2 RFPs. One was the well maintenance and the other was the vehicle, and we'll discuss those later. Any further mention of the correspondence? If not, we'll go to the I'll just go back to the adoption of the minutes. Since we had no minutes, there was no adoption or motion, but we did adopt the agenda. No further correspondence. Item 6, public comments. At this time, we open the floor for any public comments. Mr. Ernest from CUC.
Good morning. Mike Ernest from CUC. Just real quick to put it on the record for the commission and for the public. I did email to the commission early this morning a copy of a board resolution that was adopted at the last meeting, which was on, I believe, the 13th. And that was sent to all the commissioners and the commission staff this morning. And then just while I was sitting here, it occurred to me that the board, we send around a list of official board actions, and one of the actions was they authorized management to petition CPUC for a recovery surcharge in lieu of the loan, since there's been no legislative action or concrete action that has resulted in a law. I do believe that it is on the agenda for the House to consider the Senate's version, but obviously we don't control the legislature. We don't know if or when it's going to pass. So
Well, they're butting heads. They're going into a joint session. Well, they're forming their committees. They
yes,
take
sir.
3 from each house, and then they go have a joint session to hammer out. They've got some big differences of opinion,
Sure.
and
And it's an election year, and they know better, and we just wait for them to do what they do. But we can't wait for them to do what they do. So in lieu of them actually authorizing CUC to borrow, CUC has no choice but to petition the PUC for a recovery surcharge, which will allow us to get the funds needed to hopefully connect the thousands or so customers who are still awaiting connection for well over 100 days. We can't wait for the legislature. I know you want us to move. You call us before here and expect progress reports. That I'm assuming that means that you expect progress. So this is what we're doing. So to inform the CPUC about our actions, I did send to the CPUC today and its staff the list of board actions that were taken. And if that's some information that the commission would like me to send regularly, I'm happy to do so. I just need a little guidance or a directive from you telling me to do it. And if the commission is happy receiving the CFO's report and the director's reports like I have been sending, I'm happy to continue sending those if the commission finds it useful.
More information, the better.
Okay.
Like on this surcharge, this will be sent to us in a form of a petition, correct?
Yes, we would have to formally petition, which we have not yet done.
And again, granted, it is an election year, but still the legislature, I worked there many years, and they're aware that there are certain pressing matters, and I believe this CUC matter is a pressing matter. It's just that they have two pretty opposite opinions of how to deal with it. And that's why both the President and House Speaker, they organized to have this joint session. And normally when they get into this joint committee session, they take action because they know the governor's waiting for something, you are waiting for something. We are not pushing, we don't move, we don't move the legislature. Your CUC can lobby the legislature and the governor's office.
We have been.
Yeah, no, I can imagine so. I just hope for the best. And then, anyway.
Thank you.
Any further? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ernest.
Chair?
Yes, legal?
Sure.
Yes, legal?
May I ask Mr. Ernest a couple questions, just easy questions, real fast?
Sure. Mr. Ernest, you're willing to take a few questions from Mr. Seiler?
This will be about that surcharge. That would be basically a new rate implementation, so it has to go through the rate process. So, do you, that would be, because it's a new rate implementation, it could be part of the current rate case. Do you plan to make that part of the current rate case in another amendment together with the 5 years going to 3 years? Or what? Will that be a separate rate petition?
If I may? Thank you. The answer is I don't know. I do know that we will be taking whatever is necessary to get the 3-year cost recovery plan in front of the commission and the hearing administrator because we believe, as I believe you believe, that that's required by current law. Although we have been lobbying the legislature to change that. There is a bill that was introduced in the Senate to extend from 3 years to 5 years CUC's ability to recover costs. If that's the case, then there's no need to do anything. Regarding the temporary surcharge, my understanding is that we were going to all hopefully talk about it a bit tomorrow and kind of get the sense of where CPUC staff is on that and maybe where the hearing administrator is on that. I do have to confess to you what I confessed to the board. I'm very new at this, and so I'm not pushing this. I'm more along for the ride, and this is a consultant-driven process as far as I'm concerned right now. Obviously, commission staff's input will be very welcome, and we will listen to it and heed it while making our recommendations. I'm obviously not the decider; the clients decide. My hope is that the legislature passes a bill, authorizes us to borrow. We do an RFP that the PUC finds acceptable, and that we can get the funds needed. Again, I'm maybe preaching to the choir here. I'm just flummoxed that the legislature has been inactive on this. We expect a majority, if not most, of the principal to be reimbursed by FEMA. So this $40 million number, which is giving everyone great agita, again, we expect to be reimbursed. We're really talking about the financing charges here. So I can't, I'm not a legislator. I don't know what the delay is. But I can tell you that CUC's preferred course of action is not to do another surcharge. We don't want to stack on rate increases on rate increases. If that's what the legislature forces us to do, then that's what we will do. If the legislature forces us to recover the costs in 3 years instead of 5 years, that's what we will do. We're trying to get relief to the ratepayers, but we have been receiving a complete stonewall from the legislature. And if I'm speaking out of turn, I'm very sorry. And if I'm letting my frustration get to me, I'm very sorry. If that's not professional, I apologize. But that's where we're at, Attorney Cyrock. We hope to bring the issues before Commission staff informally tomorrow and kind of suss out your thoughts and feelings, and then take that back to our consultants. Well, our consultants will be there. Take that back to our principals, and I'll know more then. So nothing has been decided.
My suggestion to CUC, and Mr. Young knows this as well, that they put surcharges in rate cases before, and it's a certain couple cents a kilowatt hour for a year, 2 years, or something, and then it goes away. But that has to be, as I indicated, filed. My understanding is our conference tomorrow is more of a scheduling conference. It's not an issue discussion conference. And my also understanding is that, similar to a court case, you can't talk about issues that haven't been filed and then part of the record. So I think, I'm concerned that I don't have a problem with CUC filing a petition for a surcharge. I'd like to have that part of the current rate case so that we can do it all together. That would be much more efficient, because I think it would be much more expensive and time consuming, not only to the commission but also to CUC to have one big hearing process with hearings on Tinian, Rhoda, and Saipan, and then a month later do the same thing again for just what would basically be an amendment to the rate case that would be looked at by the commission in October, pursuant to the current schedule. So
I don't disagree with any of
that's just my thought. It's just that it should be brought in as a filing. If you can get that filing done as soon as possible, then we can couple that together with the current rate case and the model, and also the issue of 3 years, changing the model from 5 years to 3 years.
Yes, sir, and I don't disagree with you. And all I can say is that the board has authorized management to take every action which you have just suggested. And if that's what management decides to do, then I hope that will be done very quickly. I'm just not in a position to speak for Director Watson.
Could at this time invite Mr. Watson and legal counsel, Madam AG, please. Mr. Cyrock, you want this surcharge petition filed with our commission, then would be passed on to you for the proper legal proceedings, correct?
Right. You as the chairman then would transmit it to the hearing examiner as part of the rate case, but it definitely has to be filed before the issues of the surcharge can be discussed within the parameters of the docket that the hearing examiner is presiding over.
Okay.
I'm just concerned, we in the commission, I together with Mark and also Mr. Young and Mr. Jackson, want to get this rate case put together and on board and effective as soon as possible. That's at the request of CUC as well. So I just want to make sure that we get the service charge coupled in with it so that there's no delay in the current rate case.
I agree with you.
And I think that's what I agree with Mr. Ernest. I mean, as far as potential scheduling of that particular amendment with the rate case, that can be discussed at the scheduling conference, but we probably won't be discussing the inherent issues of the surcharge.
Right, until it's been filed officially. All right, any further discussion? Welcome the Executive Director, Mr. Watson, and the CUC's Legal Counsel, Management AAG, Tina, no? Welcome back from the mainland. Did you hear any of that discussion? Ben, did you want to add something? Mr. Ernest said that this surcharge petition is being put together as we speak, or is it something the board has directed for you to put together as a filing?
I haven't had a chance to discuss that with
Okay.
Mr. Ernest yet, so I don't have an answer
Sure.
right
So
now.
that's a status that it's not been, I know you're keeping your fingers crossed, Mr. Director, on the House and the Senate getting together on that loan situation sooner than later. Okay, any other public comments? Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioner. Good morning, board. We're here today. My name is Karina Magognan. I'm a senator here in the third senatorial district. I don't have any particular comments on the agenda, but in light of the information that Mr. Ernest has shared regarding the petition for additional surcharges, I just wanted to share my thoughts and maybe a recommendation to the commission that before any consideration is made to approve or disapprove the petition for the surcharge, that a request is made to CUC management to provide some insight and perhaps maybe some analysis on the data that has been collected regarding the newly increased rate from, I believe, 24 to 44, and understand and see what that impact had on the community, and whether or not CC was able to even receive the projected revenues that they were anticipating out of that increase before we even consider additional charges on top of what already has been imposed on our people. And the reason why I bring this up, because I hear it all the time in the community that after the rate increase from 24 to 44, so many of our people are now very challenged, even prior to that, but even more so now, to be even be able to just pay their current bills as in, at this rate, and to impose an additional surcharge of what they're already struggling to pay right now. I just respectfully ask that we get some type of an analysis from CC to understand whether or not the additional increase CC was able to even get those revenues, and what impact the additional surcharge will have on not just the residential ratepayers, but even to our businesses. As we all know, we continue to read on news media outlets about businesses closing down, whether it's temporary or permanent, and so we want to be mindful of things like that. I completely understand CC's position, and I understand both sides of the equation, okay? I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying to please let us understand the ramification of all these decisions that are being made before any actions are taken. And I am hopeful that the legislature, both the House and the Senate, will come together very soon to act on the bill that's before us, to allow CUC the line of credit that they are seeking, And I'm just hopeful that we can come to a resolution between the two houses and come up with a reasonable and realistic solution for our people. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Madam Senator. I'll just interject that the .44 rate was only enforced for maybe 1 week. After 1 week, CUC announced that it would go to .40, and then following that, there was another decrease to .32, I believe. And then for the month of August, it creeped up to .34, which is the existing rate as we speak. And I hope everybody realizes, I think they do, that there are global factors that are making this unfortunate swing up and down. And oil supplies run on global costs, and they're figured out MOPS, and then mobile brings it over, then CUC has to deal with it. So everybody's trying their best to cope with it, and I know the public hears stories that the rate's still at .44, and it's not. It's capped at 4.4. It can't go above that at this time. But and again, I would ask the executive director, Mr. Watson, if there could be a more aggressive PIO activity. You know, just getting this information out to the media and to the public. I know you publish the restoration and recovery factors, and those are good, but the nitty-gritty is the actual payment on the rates and how they've been fluctuating. So, you know, a public release is in order. I used to be a PIO and always had to answer to the governor when there were concerns from the public, and immediately we would release information out. And again, I know the CUC is inundated with recovery activities, but again, we still have the public out there that they have a need to know. And so, in the legislature, you want to comment on that?
Okay. I just wanted to say that CUC does provide public notice every month of what the fact is for that month. So if you go on CUC's Instagram, Facebook page, or their website, you should see a notice at the beginning of each month for what the fact is for that month. And just so the public knows, on May 1st, the fact was 0.245. On May 15th, it increased to 0.444. It only lasted for 2 weeks because by June 1st, it went down to 0.412. Then July 1st, it went down even further to 0.325. And then as of August 1st, it's been 0.341. So the fact changes every month based on the global price of fuel, and CUC has no power over that. The 0.44 was in existence for about 2 weeks back in May. Currently, the fact is 0.341. And come September 1st, it'll probably be some different number, depending on whether global fuel prices go up or down. Yeah.
Thank you. Again, these are numbers, and they're put in nice formulas, and they're well done. But the public as a whole, I knew from working with, to me, a great governor, bless him, rest in peace, Teno, that my job was to put out releases that spoke to the public in we're having problems with this situation, you know, kind of like explain the backstory, you know, to give them information that they can feel that there's humans at the CUC that not only just, you know, shoot out numbers, but they give, you know, like the backstory. Like I know those releases come out and they have series of the fact breakdown, this and that. And you know, most of the public they just see the bottom line, what the fact is, and they make guesses why it reaches that point. And so that's the only thing that I would encourage, that there be some type of mechanism that would keep the public more informed, and even bring in the global issues. I know most of the public, they don't follow the global issues. People are getting, I think, worn out on this global war over there in the Middle East, and they seem to be in this diplomatic phase, and I think there's an end. There should be an end to this thing sooner than later. It's aggravating to many parts of the world. And again, they have midterms, so we bring up that situation of politics, how their gamemanship and who's going to be the winner. Both sides want to win, and both sides have made things to gain. Okay.
If it's possible to kind of add a little bit on top of what you just said there.
Sure.
And I think just a short comment here. And Madam Senator, thank you very much for encouraging everybody to share as much data as possible and to make sure that the analysis behind our decisions are made correctly. I think for me, I've always looked at this as kind of three problems in general, right? Number one, of course, Chair, you touched on, is basically understanding the audience that we have, right? Because as much as we want, we can generate as much financial information and economic analysis as we want, but there needs to be some kind of translation, and I'm not trying to patronize the people at CNMI, but there's a certain degree of sophistication to some of the information that we have, right? There's people that study finance and accounting for years on years to understand information. There's people like me that kind of, muddle through economic numbers for years and years to understand certain information. To make up that gap, right? It's very difficult. And like you said, it needs to be translated into something that's understandable, understood by pretty much any person that's walking the street, right? And I definitely encourage everybody to provide information, but let's try to also find that next step in terms of translating some of this information into something that's easily consumable by the general consumer, right? And the second point to that, of course, is I'm hoping that while we generate this information, right, and while we do these analyses, I'm hoping that the public also understands, right, that there needs to be some effort for you to understand financial figures if you're going to have a reaction to some of these things. Right? And again, as having been an educator and Chair, you've been an educator as well, right? There needs to be certain effort by the public to really gut down to the roots of the nature, or the nature of the problem, right? And not just hang themselves on emotions and hang themselves on the difficulties that they're experiencing. Right? And I think if we all come together and try to understand some of these things, we can get a little bit of progress. Because I'm sorry, but when I look at the numbers, the decisions are very straightforward. Right? If you want power, there's certain decisions we need to make. Right? Those decisions are going to be quite difficult. But at some point, we need to make larger effort for the public to catch up to these, to the understanding that we have. Anyways, I apologize for the acronyms at that, but I did wanted to agree with your point that there needs to be some effort for us to translate some of these sophisticated data into something that the consumers can, easily comprehend and kind of digest.
Thank you, Commissioner Mendiola. I appreciate your concern, like I carry for the public. There's levels of sophistication, education throughout the island, and we have to make an extra effort, I believe, to touch all bases, and not, like you say, patronize, but make it a simple explanation, basic, that they can kind of grasp. It's sort of like an education of the public. As an educator, if I'm doing a new lesson plan, I just don't hit them with it, you know, boom, boom, boom. You have to warm them up and give them the reasons why to get their motivation to study the issue. And knowledge is power, and I think people, when they have more knowledge, they feel better about themselves. I see it in many people that come to me. I see the sadness in their, you know, talking and the way they feel about the economic times. So I agree with you fully that an extra effort should be put in place, and I ask CUC to do that, knowing that they have, their plate is pretty full, but if they could just add some, like public information releases out to the Variety and the Marianas Press, Facebook, etc. Thank you, Commissioner Mendiola, for your insight. All right, I think we've covered public comments, and again, I appreciate Senator Magnolia. Yes, sir? Please.
Yeah, is Joseph Santos Rios Jr.
Please.
Joseph Santos Rios Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess my comment is that, you know, I'm one of these great bears, and I just want to better understand the purpose of the CUC when they increase their rates. Is it because they want to meet the numbers every month to pay for the oil, the increase in oil prices around the world? If that's the case, like let's say 4 million, right? Every month is an expense to buy oil. That I'm not, you know, I'm just throwing the number out there. So if that's the case, and we have a fluctuating FAC rate every month, 0.32, 0.45, or whatever it is, 0.44. Is CUC meeting that number? Is CUC meeting that expense to pay for that monthly oil increase?
CUC is on a cost recovery operation, meaning that they're not profit-making organizations. It's
No,
cost recovery.
yeah, I understand. So
the oil price went from, I believe, excuse me, one time 2 million, went up to 4, then 1 month was, yeah. So it's, you know, it's double, and so they try to, you know, it's incorporated in the fact, you know, fuel recovery adjustment. And again, it's difficult for the public when there's an unstable, and it is. It's not stable. It's going up and down, and you know, you get a lower rate, you feel good, and the next month, boom. And so I know CUC and the commission, we're looking at the cost recovery, but also at the stabilization. And there has been no fact formula put together since 2012, 14. So for over 12 years, there's been no change to the fact formula. And things have changed in the last 12, 14 years. So that's why Attorney Cyrock and our Dr. Hellman and CUC's consultants, examiner, we're all pushing as fast as possible to get this rate case and the fact reconciliation case and everything scheduled and figured out for new formulas and new rate base so that CUC can do a cost recovery and the public can see a change because there has to be a change in this. You know, it's hard to operate if you're a business of any sort in 2026 and you have to rely on figures and policies back in 2012, 2014. So for 10 years, the commission was dormant. And I can lay the blame on various reasons why, but it should have never been dormant or out of quorum for that lengthy period of time. There was no oversight for CUC, and they had to rely on the governor's office, and eventually, again, bless his soul, Governor Palacios, he appointed new members to the commission, And it's been a catch-up process and it's still a work in progress. But we're trying our best to make sure the public, the ratepayers, we advocate the ratepayers. In other words, we support. We regulate CUC. So that's the balance that we have to work with. And again, you're bringing up good points. That's how do they recover this big jump in oil? And they do it by this fact adjustment, which is being done now monthly. Before it used to be done on a 6-month period, and one time a 3-month. So I thank you for your comments. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I totally understand in regards to this recovery charge, and I totally empathize with the hard work that CC and PUTC is trying to figure out, like, find a better solution towards going forward with this rates. But I just want to make sure, you know, as a person, as a ratepayer, that when CC quotes a price out there or quotes a number out there and says, well, we're doing a fact rate of 44 or 66 or 35 or 32 for this month, I'm just asking like clarifying questions whether or not they are truly achieving that price recovery, or is it something that we're just kind of throwing out there and says we might not, or we're just falling deeper into a hole, into a an abyss that they're still like what, since 2012 all the way down to 2026, like what exactly are we doing? Is it a correct number? Is it a number that we just hit and miss? Is the numbers that are being called out by CUC, or you know, that it's just a number that appears to be right at that right moment, according to whose calculations?
CUC, they get black and white numbers from mobile, who base it on the model, and that's what they have to deal with. I have a problem myself, and I'm going to, and I have talked to the legal counsel now, Mr. Cyrock, and he said it's okay for me to move forward. I want to find out why mobile has such a monopoly stranglehold on this island. In my research, I've actually found out people think that Mobile and Shell are two independent companies. They should be competitive, but they're always got the same price. Why at the gas station? I found out, and some people have been like, what? Shell Oil Marianas is under Mobile Marianas Oil. Marianas Mobile acquired Shell Oil. It's an acquisition. They're under Mobile Oil. So do you have two independent companies here? No, just one. And I put forth that should be investigated by the government here, by the DOJ. It's like having a cartel, you know, complete control over these islands, one company. And I believe there's U.S. laws, correct me, that try to prevent this type of monopolistic situation. But right now, CUC is at the mercy of Mobile, and I believe that should be looked into. There's a lawsuit pending right now that Mobile has fought for 10 years to kick it out of court, but they haven't been able to. They bring in all their high corporate attorneys. And it's a price-fixing lawsuit by 3 local people, and I appreciate what they did. They went to court, so it's starting to open up to where there should be a competitive pricing for the oil delivered here, but there isn't. Mobile's been always the contractor fuel for CUC for way back, and I think that needs to be looked at and needs to be modified.
Of course, I definitely agree with you, and I understand that area, that portion of this CUC fiasco, not fiasco, I'm sorry, the CUC issues that we're having right now. But like I said earlier, it's really simple. I just want to know that are they even hitting their targets, you know, for their expenses. So whatever expenses that come around again with the increase or the fluctuation of the price, is CUC actually hitting that target? Every time they charge the fact rate of 32 or 44 or 66, are they collecting that money from?
Well, that's why reconciliation is very important, because that's when we find out if there's a overcharging or undercharging. because see, the price is fluctuating. But that hadn't been done for 12 years, and finally CUC submitted a fact reconciliation, I believe in early March, Madam AG. The 12-year, I think Mr. Young submitted it, their consultant. It was a 12-year fact reconciliation when it should be done every 1 month, 6 months. That'll be also discussed in these new rate cases. How many months should the reconciliation be done? CUC, they have a certain time. It'll be presented, and we're trying to find the best. Should it be a 1 month reconciliation, 3 months, or 6 months? And the consultants are working over this as we speak, and they're going to come up with, I believe, good solutions for the betterment of the island.
Yes, definitely, that's great news, but the thing again, it's 12 years, right? So even when they start doing this reconciliation, now there's a pending amount out there that whether you got to do an undercharging or overcharging. Now we have to start thinking again, well, okay, we have this big issue again coming our way, whether again we're going to start seeing a greater increase in back rates. So we just want to be, apprised of, the landscape, because we don't want like later, oh, this popped up, oh, this popped up, and then what, you didn't know? It's not whether we didn't know, it's that, it's what the CUC has to get done, has to prioritize and make sure that what they're putting out there officially is the numbers that we see and we can understand and we can better gauge, so that we can start meeting, okay, fine, you picked it up at 44, you picked it up 66, at least you establish some sort of credence to that number, instead of just, well, we picked it up here because, but however, just as a caution, caveat, buyer beware, we might be picking this up again in what, 3 months, 6 months, we don't know. So it's kind of, that's the thing that kind of puts people at unease and makes them say, well, what is it that you guys doing? What are you guys prioritizing? Are you making sure that the numbers that we're paying, especially in this day and age when we're experiencing an economic depression, this is something that we just don't need. We just don't need in our lives. So
again, the rate case, in fact, all these are going through, and Mr. Cyrock and Dr. Hellman, we're pushing, and CUC's agreed, there are going to be public hearings on all 3 islands, aggressive. We want people to come out. I've been to public hearings over several years I've been here, and sometimes nobody shows up. And we will encourage the people to come out to ask these good questions like you are bringing forth right now. And then this input is, we go through it, CUC, and come up to the best solution for both sides. And again, like I say, I pay the rates too, so I know what it's like to suddenly have a bill double, but being on this seat here, I get all the information beforehand and I have more knowledge, and so it softens the blow, for me, knowing that I have to pay if I want to keep my aircon running and things like that.
Yeah, but at the same time too, it kind of makes you worried because 12 years is a big time frame, so.
Sure.
Undercharge, overcharge, where we at? So
well, all this we're trying to catch up in a matter of a year or two.
I understand, and as a ratepayer, I do appreciate something like that, but just I'm just bringing it out there so we can better understand. So it's not necessarily, do we know why the prices go up or this and that? It's not that the patient thing is about what other unforeseen issues that are coming down the pipeline that is on top of that, that creates that greater uncertainty, that creates that the detrimental effect.
Sure.
Well, anyways, thank you. I'm sorry for.
No. I appreciate your comments, Mr. Santos.
All right.
Anytime we have a meeting, please come and make comments. Commissioner Mendiola?
No, Chairman, I just wanted to, one, definitely express sincere gratitude for someone brave enough to come up. It's a rarity, right? I think in our usual meetings, we don't have anybody from the public that's expressing this type of information or this type of, how do you say, problem with the whole situation. My basic feeling on this, right, and if I could get a few minutes here just to express this, is that one, while I appreciate the public comment and the frustration is palatable, right? We understand that everybody's frustrated. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, right, in the world of business, the world of operating something like this, and I have never operated an electrical company in my life, but I understand business. There are things that come that are global in nature that nobody foresaw, right? And that's why CUC and most businesses prepare, right? And what's the type of preparation? Well, it's usually called cash, right? So that you have the flexibility and ability to adapt to the situation. And we rob CUC the ability to build up cash in order for it to have flexibility and to adapt to these world and changes. And then we come back and say, well, what happened? Why didn't you foresee all of these problems? One, there is no company in the world that can clearly see and basically figure out what's going to happen next. If they did, they would be $1 trillion company. Right? They would rule the world. With these kinds of problems that CUC is facing, right, there is no way for us to tell them, look, figure out what's going to happen next, right? That's outside of our regular operations, right? That's all we can ask CUC to do is figure out operations, make it as efficient as possible, bring down the cost to the people. But these unforeseeable problems, right? We cannot ask them to do this. They are not magical beings that can understand this. That's why we want to give CUC the flexibility to make these kind of to adapt to these issues as they come up. Now, with that said, right, and I believe the frustration is quite palatable in the general public. I think CUC and the CPUC need to make sure that the public understands there is no easy way out of this, right? The suffering that's going to happen is a suffering that happens to all because we all pay electricity rates, right? But there is going to be suffering. It's a matter of how much strength and resilience the people of the CNMI have. If you're looking for CPUC and CUC to make life easier in a global crisis for oil, it's not going to happen, and we need to make sure people understand that. But I'm not a politician. I'll tell it to your face. It's going to get ugly if oil doesn't recover. So buckle up, right? And I'm sorry to be the jerk in the room, but to force government entities to continuously try to lessen the burden of a global crisis does not make any sense, because this is something we as a community need to do. I am sorry, right? Rates increase. This is the nature of the world. Rates have to increase for us to have electricity. The amount of suffering increases. I get that. There is no way to sit here and say that I don't care about your suffering. But the truth of the matter is, the economic crisis that the CNMI faces includes the CUC. It includes everything else in this economy that we call the CNMI. Right? So it's going to get bad. We need to adjust our understanding of how bad it's going to get and make sure that we're strong enough and resilient enough to overcome this. And I apologize for sitting here on my soapbox and talking, but I really appreciate people's feedback. But I think people are misunderstanding the crisis we are in. There is no easy way out. There is no less painful way out. It's going to get painful, and people, elected leaders, politicians, board members like ourselves, cannot candy coat this issue. Right?
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Mendiola. Yeah, tough times, and hopefully we all stick together and find solutions that get us through the tough times. Okay, well, any other further public comments? Anybody want to say a few things? If not, we'll move on to old business. A is under monthly reports of our committees. We'll try to make them short, concise, and to the point. We have a long agenda, and I know CUC staff, they need to get back to their office and continue what they do. Executive Director Watson, did Mr. Winkler, is he busy today? I invited him.
He's right here.
Ah, I saw you coming in and I went, okay.
But he is busy, but he's here.
I just wanted to be able to see you. I like, meeting the small island and let you know if anything we can do to help what you do to help with Mr. Watson. Please convey to Mr. Watson any concerns that we can do, and we'll convey our concerns back and ask for answers. We'll ask you questions, and so you think there's hope, Mr. Winkler?
There's always hope, and we're working it hard, working on the problem. We're focused on improving infrastructure and doing a lot of training for staff. We just did pump class training for 33 staff members 2 weeks ago. We're doing project management professional certification training next week, and then some leadership training. So working on it on all fronts.
Appreciate that. That's what I like to hear. There is hope, and I know you're bringing 30 years experience from Alaska, correct?
Yep.
And that means you're in a remote area, which is like you're in an island. And I welcome your expertise and concern and making the decision to come here and thaw out in the tropical sun. So how about your chief engineer, David Smith? Is that the correct name?
Yes,
Is he busy or?
he's busy. He's not here.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to let the public know that Mr. Watson and the team, they've gone out and recruited Mr. Winkler, top professional, chief engineer David Smith, another top professional, a gentleman by the name of Carson. Is he here? Is he hiding it? Yeah, I want to tell the executive director, I appreciate Mr. Carson's efforts that he immediately, after the schedule permitted, helped Agape. However, Agape sort of dropped the ball. Their contractor, he wanted to draw a plan up to satisfy your engineers on the manhole and that setup. He was a little bit afraid that he might not have the correct plan that would be acceptable, because he found out that if it's not acceptable, he'd have to tear it out and put it back in again. So he took the precaution. He's doing the plans, and he wants to hand deliver them to your staff to get that green light. And I appreciate Mr. Carson. He came out, his team twice, and Agape, first time, Mr. Lim, the contractor, his guys were emergency, he sent the tin in. The second time is when he finally realized, he talked to somebody about having a set plan that is beforehand blessed by CUC. So again, I appreciate his good work, and I want to let you know that that's another team member I think will make a difference in your overall operations. Okay, committee reports. I'll go with Vice Chairman Camacho, who heads the committee on grants and government operations. If anything to report, please advise us.
Yes, Chairman. I'm gonna try and make this short. I know we have a long agenda, but if I'm going too long, please go ahead and stop me. If any means necessary. I apologize too. My meds are still kicking in, and this migraines just give me craziness. But I wrote a few notes down. So I went on a trip about 2 weeks ago. It wasn't a CPUC business, but it pretty much relates to a lot of the items here on the agenda today. I met with U.S. EPA and GPA and a couple of other some of their stakeholders that help them run like their power plants and their solar farms. So what was interesting is I visited the 198 megawatt new power plant in Guam. It's forgive me if I mispronounce this. It's Ukudu power plant. It's basically a hybrid power plant that uses both diesel fuel and liquefied natural gas or LNG. Based on this trip, I would really encourage. I know the session. I know it's being live streamed, but if any of our elected officials are listening right now, I really highly encourage you, if you haven't gone to this facility, to please go into it and try and schedule a visit. I know CUC has been there on numerous occasions, because when I got there and when they heard that I was from the cinema, they said, "Oh, Director Watson was here like a month ago." So that's a good thing that the CUC has been going out and looking at different examples of different types of power generation across like around our region and stuff. So one of the interesting things, there's two items that I can think of on top of my head that was really insightful. Is one was the Black Star battery storage that they have. It's 25 megawatts. So what it does, from my understanding, sorry if I'm not an engineer, but this is what I comprehended of how it was explained to me. This 25 megawatt Black Start, what it does, it's basically like a generator to the generator. So if you have like let's say like what we're going through, like an island outage, rather than waiting several hours for to energize the main lines, these generators, this 25 Black Start generator is basically energizing the generator that energizes the grid. So I thought it was pretty cool, because all the excess energy goes into that generator and it stays there, so it's very available. It saves some fuel and everything, because it's basically being powered by excess power. So the other thing that was pretty neat is the LNG part, the liquefied natural gas. They have one generator there that's being fueled. What's being used as its cooling station is Guam Waterworks, their wastewater. It's being recycled to be used for their cooling system. I thought that's pretty cool, because rather than just keeping it at your wastewater plant, just being treated and going back into wherever it goes. I really don't want to know where it goes, but they recycle this wastewater to go into the cooling system. I think it's pretty neat. I'm pretty sure it's expensive too, but if you want to look at efficiency versus price, to me, this trip made me feel that if CUC should, I'm sorry, this is just a suggestion. I don't mean it in any negative way or anything like that, but it makes me feel that I feel like CUC needs to start looking into getting out of the power generation business and going into sticking into the power distribution business. Seeing that power plant, how much people it takes to run that plant. You still have GPA is still there to make sure that to ensure that they're doing things right, doing things safe. It doesn't take away too much away from CUC. I know the power generation, that's the core of where you generate revenue for CUC. But I think if you do it, I think the CUC board can come together and figure out a way how you can still use, the thing about this is, if you give away power generation, you lose employees, and nobody wants to lose employees. Nobody wants to give up employees. But if you could transition them into going into these companies that you could PPP, I think it's an advantage of CUC and pretty much power. It would save power. I'm sorry. I could explain more about these migraines, and I know we have this long agenda, but it was pretty insightful, and I think that's one solution that I would suggest to solving our long-term fuel crisis situation.
Good.
Exactly.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. I think Mr. Watson has been to Guam and he's seen these operations, and he's contemplating other avenues, of course, thinking about long-term cost benefits and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that's good information, and I know everybody appreciates. You can never get too much information sometimes, right, Mr. Watson? Because things change and there's new technology coming, down the road. Okay, Commissioner Mendiola, you are heading the economics, and any comments or any suggestions, recommendations you want to put forward?
I think for me, it comes down to data from CUC. Currently, given the downturn that we're facing, I'm a bit worried that the information that we receive for CPUC regarding CUC's data in terms of kilowatt hours is kind of 1 year behind. I think we have information up until September 2025. I think we need to CUC for generation and sales data aggregated past 2025 to current dates. And the primary reason for that, Chairman, is that we need to start figuring out whether the average consumption level, right, is staying steady. Obviously, when we talked to economist.com and of course to Dr. Hyman himself, we understood that the consumption level for the CNMI has stayed relatively stable for these last few years. I think it's at 256 million kilowatt hours per year, somewhere around about, right? I'm worried, given that, the Typhoon said give us the oil prices, that the consumption level is going to drastically shift. And this is part of that whole thing that the gentleman, Mr. Santos from the public compromise brought up, is that we need to start understanding, getting a better idea of how things are moving and trending. This is one thing that I'd like to get for our team to get, so that we can kind of see what CUC is seeing on their side and how they're going to be reacting, whether they're taking action for some things like this. And this also kind of branches into our general analysis and kind of general review of the economic data coming out from the US and our primary visitors, being Korea, Japan, and China. But thankfully, even with these difficult oil prices that we're getting in nations like Korea are pretty much 100% importers of oil. And one has stayed relatively stable, so that gives us hope against the USD. But we also don't have up-to-date AMI information regarding what's the hotel occupancy and how things are moving from that. My suggestion, Chairman, is for us to also, basically ping the other agencies and other organizations to see if we can get some of this data, right? I get it that it's peripheral to what we do as rate regulators, but I think if we are going to get serious about looking through economic data just to get an understanding of how things might move in the future. It might behoove us to kind of ask for this data and have a channel to get this data on a regular basis.
Any,
Just to kind of
yeah.
look at demand, right? Demand side.
Yeah, you're bringing up good points. Once you complete your economic report, could you just touch upon a short summary of the status of Tinian from the people there you mentioned earlier? Are they
Yeah,
accepting the delay because of lack of materials or whatever the case may be? Are they being patient? Just give us a quick feel of the people there.
And again, looking for us, we're sitting around 96%, I believe, executive director. I'm not quite sure with that number, but we're getting close. But there are certain pockets of businesses within the community, the village itself, that's waiting for things like transformers, right? One in particular is a hotel that's still without power within the village, and that's a huge concern as well. They voiced their concern, of course, and I'm kind of transmitting it here. Second to that is, of course, the number of reports that I've gotten. I believe it's 2 to 3 people have reported that there are fragments and kind of leftover materials near the poles, and in fact, very close to the roadside, right? And there have been incidences when things like the ceramic insulators have gotten caught into lawnmowers and mowers, and made basically a fragmented grenade, right? And spread those fragments, sharp fragments all over the place. So I think those are the primary concerns that I've heard from Tinian. I realize that CUC is all hands on deck trying to get Rhoda's recovery going, but I think there needs to be some kind of discussion, right, in terms of whose responsibility it would be to kind of clean up these materials, given that they are causing a little bit of a hazard, right, once they get entangled in certain machinery, and if they puncture tires, things of that nature. And I've taken a few photos just walking around the village of all the wires and aluminum little ties, and ceramic insulators that are still lying on the ground, right? And I think this needs to be a coordinated effort. If CUC doesn't have the time or the capacity, maybe there are other elements that we can kind of tap into to kind of get these things cleaned up before they get completely buried into those long grasses and just become, an unknown hazard and a really bad surprise for people that are working the roots and doing piles of them.
Good points. Could I ask the executive director, you're aware, you have a plan maybe that like a cleanup crew or maybe coordinate with the mayor's office? Is that something that could be addressed?
Yeah, that we will look into that.
Okay.
Our main priority has been trying to
Sure.
restore the
Yeah,
power.
right. I understand. So Commissioner Mendiola, the
Absolutely.
executive director, said, yeah, their main objective is getting power, but they're having more time to now address that issue of picking up the broken parts and et cetera. So thank you, Mr. Watson. Okay, Commissioner Kitagwa,
Absolutely.
how's our Luta doing?
They're recovering, but not as much as what we are supposed to. See how fast it is. I'm just a little bit concerned about the materials for the telephone that I've heard that they, I don't know whether they're lacking wooden poles, telephone poles. I have no idea about that, but I'm looking forward that shall be working out as fast as we can, because how long will it take us to energize our electrical power? I don't know, but it might be up to October if I'm not mistaken to say that. But we are already August, and my place is the worst place area because there were like 11 wooden poles down, everything from transformers to land lines, power line, it seems like nobody's touching it, and I understood that the primary here on the island is the hospital, the school, and of course some of the businesses, and those that are lucky enough that they're close to the main road, they do have their own power back to normal. I have no idea why. We need to have my place to install the telephone poles. I don't know what they were lacking, telephone poles or transformers as well. I don't want to talk more about that because it's
Yeah, Commissioner, yeah, Mr. Watson is here, and he's making notes, and I know he's given a update.
and the
later.
poor crew, there's not enough crew there. They devoted themselves to work on their diligent assignment to make the post start up, but it would take us all the way, I can feel, up to October. And I sense that because a lot of us purchase gas for our own generators. And even myself, there's no reimbursement. And guess what? You have to go and buy gas to run your generators. Please help us to make it fast. I don't know what's the holding with. I have no business on that. My business is to see that we have to energize the power back to normal. It seems like gonna take us again up to October.
Well, the
And,
director,
that-
Commissioner,
that-
yeah, Commissioner Kidaba, the director is, he does have a status and update of all three islands. I think he'll touch upon these things. And also IT&E will touch upon the phone, internet, and Docomo. So again, during that time, if you have any further question, what they say, then you can bring it up, okay, Commissioner?
Yes, but I'm expressing that right now because that's what
Yeah.
my primary
Oh, yeah.
concern.
Sure.
And we need to make fast on this. And, we're suffering. Even expending a lot of money
Yes.
to purchase gas for your own generators. And I don't think there's a reimbursement on that. I'm sorry to say that, but it's bringing up frustration. It's bringing up why and how and when shall be the power to come back to normal. If it's because of the lack of wooden poles or whatever, that's not my question. My question is to speed up. And there are only few people that work with, and I doubt it, because I don't think so. I've heard that there was no overtime. That's none of my business again. But having them to be given overtime to speed up the job, I have no idea on that. That's none of my business to find out about. They were giving overtime or what. And the other one is, please, whoever is the representative or the board, CUC Board of Rota, shall be here on the island. Sometimes when the mayor goes for town meeting, nobody from CUC representative. And I witnessed that because I was present during the town meeting of the mayor. That's my concern again. And people were still bombarding me with a lot of problems in terms of the CUC. And they were asking me a lot of questions that, of course, they're related to CPUC. But we need to have this board member, whoever, she or he, to represent the island. And I don't know where's our board member here for the CUC. And we need to address some of our concerns too. I think that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Kidaba. Well, the board is represented here by Attorney Michael Ernest. He can speak on certain matters, and he does. But I will extend an invitation in September, the next meeting or sooner, to the CUC board chairman. Mr. Watson, you think that could be a feasible plan to have Mr. Perez come to our next meeting or the following meeting?
Yeah, Chairman Perez is from Tinian.
Yes.
Miranda is from Rhoda, but she speaks highly of Rhoda, and she does
Yeah.
push for
Right.
Rhoda.
Yeah. Yeah, I met her there, and she's, yeah,
Mr. Watson,
okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes? Yes, Commissioner Kidawat?
Mr. Watson, when will be the power to resume? I understood that I would not like to see it maybe October, November, or December.
He'll be giving an update, Mr. Commissioner Kidawat, in a few minutes, and I know he has a schedule tentative. You know, it's based on, I know, supplies, materials. The President, U.S. just declared the declaration, correct, Mr. Watson, recently? So now things are sort of moving faster with FEMA. So, okay, Commissioner Kidawat,
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
okay, thank you.
I'm not getting mad on that, but I need to express out my sentiment.
Well, I know you're the lone commissioner there on Rhoda representing the CPUC, and you're trapped. There's nowhere to hide, right? Oh, cute.
Yeah, they address me everywhere.
Yeah.
Even on my house, they come over and they keep on asking me why the billing is so high, and said, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but we need to see the appropriate people to address
Yeah.
that.
First they get a barbecue rib, then they ask you, the next question is, what about our power? So, again, Mr. Watson, he will be addressing this soon.
Yeah,
in
even
next couple of
myself,
minutes.
I'm not really complaining, but I do experience that even myself right now. We do have to energize to our own generators, and we need to buy our fuel.
Okay.
And it seems like every other day we have to get 10 gallons. And imagine the price of the gas here on the island is $7.69. Imagine, I don't know if Rhoda has the most or the highest fuel cost here on the island. $7.69.
No, that would be Tinian.
Okay. How about, okay, again, yeah, Rhoda is, they were hit hard, and I know Mr. Watson is doing his best, and he'll report on this in a few minutes. I have just a quick committee report for the IT&E and Docomo, and my report is they will be giving a status report upcoming, and I'll let them speak, and if there's any questions at that time. For my own, I'm satisfied with IT&E and Docomo's response to the community. I hear good things. I hear a few hiccups, one from Rhoda, Madam Tenorio, her good friend on Rhoda, and I think she'll address that. And again, IT&E will come up in a matter of, let's see, by alphabet, Docomo goes first, D before I. I think I remember that. So I'm done with my committee. Any other comment before? If not, please, Docomo, come to the table and give us your update on the 3 islands. And we'll entertain a few questions for you, because I know you want to get back. And also, Mr. Watson, Mr. Winkler and Carson, they can return back to their assignments at any time. So, because we just basically want to touch base, and if we have any concerns later, you would pass them on down to them, okay? So again, thank you, Mr. Winkler and Mr. What's Carson's last name?
Carson.
I'll just call you Mr. Carson. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Winkler. Oh. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And good luck. Welcome to Saipan. Okay, Docomo, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, since it's already 11 o'clock. I'm Brendy Longer. I'm the Senior Brand Manager for Docomo Pacific. For our updates for Docomo, mobile services for Saipan and Tinian are still at 100% since last reporting. We do have cell sites in Rhoda that are currently up and working as well. We have them at Song Song, which is on the Valentino Hotel, Rhoda Airport, Sinapalo 1 and Sinapalo 2. We have a monopole in Sinapalo 1 that was recently turned on. We continue to face challenges with around 5 cell sites here in Saipan that are still on generator power. We still have crews 24 hours of the day refueling those areas. We do appreciate CUC's updates and their hard work in restoring. However, when cell sites are on generator, that does impact the quality of service for those areas. And so once those 5 cell sites are back on commercial power, Saipan will be at 100% for mobile services. Home internet restoration continues as of last reporting. We do have a crew that is heading down to Rhoda this week. They will be working on our fiber installation on the main road that was recently, last reporting that we received was that there was commercial power that was restored there. So we're thankful for that progress on the commercial CUC power site. That will help us bring up our cell site at the Rhoda NMC campus, which is beside the Rhoda Mayor's office, and as well as 2 additional RRH cell sites that will feed that long dead zone of a road from starting from Song Song to Sinapalo. So we look forward to the restoration there. We do continue to face challenges with lodging and Rhoda, and so that's making it a little bit difficult for us to send down our crews, as they do need more than 2 days to stay there to repair whatever issues that are found. And so this week, our crew will be there for about a week, bringing up any down cable lines that feed the cell sites that we are prioritizing to turn back on as well. Home internet restoration for Rhoda remains the same, where our primary focus is getting the mobile network up at 100% before we can start working on the home internet, as we do provide services for first responders and government agencies, and they desperately need the communications to be as stable as possible. So that continues to be our main focus. Our home internet services on Rhoda are highly dependent on commercial power as well, which we know CUC is working hard on restoring. So once we get to a closer restoration for that, we will be sending an additional crew down for home internet restoration. Similar to our last reporting with CPUC, the new technology of home internet that we brought up will also be deployed to Rhoda, and that will help us restore homes at a quicker rate without having to depend on the commercial power restoration for that area. Our Tinian, Saipan, and Rhoda retail locations, all 3 are back to normal hours. Following Sinlaku and Bovi, we did adjust our hours for our frontliners so that they have ample time to prepare before they start the workday. And so we're happy to announce that our hours are back to normal, most especially for Tinian and Rhoda, and that is Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are closed on Saturdays and Sundays, but you can reach us at our 24-hour customer care hotline at 670-4 488-2273. That's CARE. And I think the last update that we have is our disconnections are still suspended following Super Typhoon Sinlaku and Bobby. That applies to all three islands. We understand that the community is facing a lot of challenges that are compounded by different aspects, and so we're happy to continue to extend the disconnection pause on all accounts.
How long will they be paused?
We don't have a date yet of when we will be resuming, but we will be giving a 30-day notice once that decision is made.
Maybe after Christmas?
Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, the disconnections continue to be suspended. We are continuing to apply advance credits on any services that are not restored, most especially for Rhoda. So customers should see those credits reflected on their billing. Again, we encourage anybody to please bring to our attention if anything seems incorrect or if you need additional assistance. We are continuing to provide MiFis for customers who are pending home internet restoration. That's also available at Rhoda, and they can check us at Sinapalo Safeway for our frontliner to assist.
Very good. Our Commissioner Pitagua has he said there's a location where they meet. Are you part of that, where there's IT&E, where they can get like a group meeting place where they can get internet service and phone?
I believe that probably might be ITV.
Okay. Well, thank you. Again, appreciate all the work, and I know you have more work to do than IT&E in a manner of speaking, because you're hybrid. A lot of your cables are overhead on the power poles, which were pretty well wiped out by Sinlaku here and Bobby on Rhoda. Well, any question, Commissioner Mendiola, for Tinian on Docomo service?
Yeah.
Not at this time, sure.
Okay. Commissioner Kiragua, any question for Luta?
Yeah, I'd just like to figure out or ask the gentleman there, is there a plan to upgrade the telecommunication like those that were identified as non-service area, non-service or out of zone or whatever?
Yeah, they're working on them, Commissioner, and they're sending crews up there on a weekly basis. So again, it's being done. How fast they accomplish it, it's up to the materials and the people that go there. They say there's a shortage of housing, like accommodations, but they're doing their best. Okay, Commissioner?
Yeah, I understood that they're doing their best, but having to have someone from outsider coming over here at the end of the village, you said they're out of service. I'm sorry, there's no intercommunication, and it's the same for us here on the island to have this kind of out of service. They have to be asked a lot of questions why and how. We need to upgrade the telecommunication service here on the island, and I'm not blaming anybody else, but we have to upgrade, because there are people coming out from outsiders, and they were wondering why this and that. Again, can they maintain that or upgrade the communication system? That's a question in mind. But knowing or having it ever since the installation of this telecommunication service, there's always out of zone or no service. Even on the backside of our island, if in case a tourist got into an accident, how can this tourist get to be assisted with or communicated if there's no or dead zones or whatever? That's really an embarrassing for us here as an islander. A lot of people ask us about that, and the answer is we don't know. because we don't know about the telecommunication system. And the only sign that you see here on the island, or if you go on the backside, it said no service. What does it mean that?
Is it Brian?
Brent.
That's
Commissioner
very,
Kitterbach,
unfortunate.
what if Mr. Brian from Docomo, when your crews go down there, is somebody that could meet maybe in the mayor's office, invite any public, if they have any concerns?
Yeah.
Besides going to Oscar, our commissioner, they can go right to the, Commissioner Kitterbach, Docomo, they'll set up one of the representatives when they go there for repair work to meet with the mayor and invite any of the public to speak with them one-on-one or in groups, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner.
Appreciate it.
All right, then, anything further to add, Brian?
That's it.
Okay, thank you for your
Thank
time and
you.
effort for being here, and you can
Thank you very much.
and you can head off
Thank you.
back to work and enjoy the day.
Yes,
Oh, excuse me.
but
Dr. Hellman would like to ask a question.
just I was curious, are there any federal support being provided for any of the restoration efforts costs that you're being incurred?
That's a good question.
In terms of cost and reimbursement, we are not getting any reimbursement from the federal. They are, however, providing us assistance with logistical shipping from Inner Island. And so at this time, I believe that is just all that we're being provided in terms of the FEMA side. They do offer assistance with generators. However, we were able to deploy generators that were used here in Saipan with the cell sites being restored. We were able to repurpose them and send them down to Rhoda. So for the most part, the federal assistance that we receive is for shipping inter-island.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, no further questions, and let's move to IT&E. Thank you, Docomo. If you can introduce yourself to the microphone and have you on record.
That one?
Good afternoon.
Yes, put it between us. Good morning, close to afternoon at this point. My name is Dave Gibson. I'm the CEO of IT&E.
I'm Janice Tenorio, Senior Manager for Government and Customer Service in Amman.
Excellent. Well, thanks for having us. I'm going to stick to the agenda, but one brief comment just because it came up. With regards to the Commissioner's question on connectivity, I'm fairly certain that the Utilities Commission is aware that IT&E will be building a buried fiber network to every household in the Commonwealth. So to the question as to when everyone is going to have high-speed fiber, the answer is within the next 3.5 years. So there shouldn't be much mystery about when connectivity is coming, at least from the IT&E standpoint. And I know
This is through that federal project.
that is correct. Yeah, you guys are aware of that project?
Yes.
Okay, and that will apply to Rhoda as well,
And Tinian.
and Tinian, yep, all the islands. So hopefully that helps. With regards to the network, the IT&E network continues to be at 100%. That's our mobility services, fiber, DSL, and fixed wireless. On Saipan, we have one site that is still on generator, Mount Tapachau. Tinian is 100% on commercial power, and Rhoda, we're not on commercial power as of yet. But all of the sites are operational. Our longer-term challenges right now, which will probably be resolved in the next 30 to 90 days, is replacing some of the sites that took a hit. So, for example, in Saipan, Lower Base, our site was pretty much destroyed. So we have service there on a temporary basis, but right now there's a handful of sites through the Commonwealth that we're going to need, significant reconstruction. That's about it. again, the network's up as folks continue to get commercial power. That affects obviously our ability to do connectivity. So all of the tickets that we get right now are really just customers when their commercial power is coming back on, wanting to make sure that their DSL or their fixed wireless is working.
And now in regards to community engagement, for Rhoda, due to the Typhoon Bobby, we have opened up the fiber connectivity at the aging center and the mayor's office. So the community can huddle around and use the internet because of the mobile sites that were down and no commercial power with COC as of yet.
Yeah. Long range connections will be dependent on the power you guys depend
Correct.
on it, right?
Yes, that's one. And then the other is that FEMA has loaned us or issue us a COW, mobile cellular on wheels, that we have erected up in Samsung. So that's in the works, but it's not as high as our old tower that was down during Typhoon Bobby.
You plan to put a new tower up?
Yes.
Everywhere there's a tower that's been destroyed will be replaced.
Yes.
Within like 3 months?
It's just about materials. It's about engineering, permitting, and materials. So we've started the process on all of them, but hopefully we'll be able to get all of that pulled together within 90 days. We also have a number of additional cows that should be coming on island in the next 3 weeks. They were actually ordered right after Sinlaku, so to give you an idea of how long things take to get out the door. Those will be arriving on island again in the next 2 to 3 weeks, so we'll be able to deploy them in areas where service is affected because of the lower temporary tower. One additional thing for folks on Rhoda, we're lifting any billing suspensions this month, so there'll be no suspension of service for Rhoda residents, Rhoda customers.
And to add to that, for Rhoda, we have extended also a pop-up tent over at the aging center, and we've hired one part-time individual that is from Rhoda, who is roving around and assisting the residential and so is business if need be in regards to their.
You said they might get a place inside the aging though, an office?
They are. They have.
Down the road? Okay.
Yes.
But also a pop-up tent?
Correct.
Great.
Yeah. And thanks to the people of Rhoda, they've been really nice and accommodating in regards to the aging center and the mayor's office.
Very good.
Thank you.
And just to be clear about the power situation, ours, obviously we prefer to be on commercial power, but the fact that we're on generator power doesn't take away from the service that we're providing. So as long as we have power, the site is fully operational from a customer perspective, the same way it would be if it was on CUC. So, obviously we want to be on commercial power, but right now the sites are fully functional on generators.
This temporary setup.
Yes.
I just wanted to add that I pay the bills for the various vendors, and I do it in person. Part of it is I like going to IT&E office, Docomo's office, and as a customer, and I just like observing how the people interact with the customers, and I hear things that are helpful for me to understand the problems you guys face and how the customers try to have these things solved. And overall, I'm quite satisfied with both Docomo and IT&E's customer service. And again, I appreciate what you guys offer and do for the islands. And again, I also appreciate you being here today, especially Mr. Gibson. I know you're the general big shot type.
On a good day, maybe.
Just landed this morning.
Is it true that what Janice said, you answered to her?
Yes, everybody answers to Janice and Velma.
All right. Again, I want to thank you, and I got one little issue about bringing up with Janice. I know she'll solve it.
Yes.
Certainly will.
Okay, so again, thank you. Any questions from Mr. Hellman?
I think the same question.
Yep. Vice,
The same question that Domin brought up earlier?
about the federal assistance?
Oh,
Any
the cow.
voluntary?
I did
It is-
mention that the cow was from FEMA.
No.
The
Oh,
cellular on wheels on Rhoda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had assistance from various federal agencies, including FEMA, the military in Tinian, let us use one of their generators when one of our CO generators was having problems. So everyone has been incredibly cooperative in this
That's good.
in this process. So yeah, we're happy to be back up and running.
good to hear.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, IT&E, and again, we appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say hello to Paul. He's been very helpful with our setup here, and
I'll see him very shortly.
and I don't want to forget Conrad.
Conrad, yes,
How's
yes.
his arm doing?
I don't know. I haven't been in the office yet.
Thank
Like
you.
a-
Question,
Oh, yeah. Commissioner Kittigaw from Rhoda has a question for, let me guess, is it for Janice or Mr. Gibson?
Janice and either way, either one of them. How many towers you have? One in Savannah and one in Apollo?
Hours?
Is Velma on the line?
May I ask? Yeah, yes. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
We have
Good morning.
one tower in San Paulo that was damaged. We have one in Song Song. We have one at the mayor's office or Rhoda Library, we call it. And we have one at the Kamachili area. Kamachili. Yes. So we have 4 right now. And, as our CEO had mentioned, that everything is operational post Bobby, and we are working on rebuilding our San Paulo tower, and also we are planning to send our crews there next week as well. We are still challenged with lodging basically, and last time when they came, they had to, I guess, bunk in one of our buildings. Mind you, it's not very sanitary, and we have more than 4 people there, but they did it just so that we can provide temporary service. So they are planning to go back there next week to do some upgrades to the network to just kind of help with the connectivity for our wireless network during this time until we do our permanent rebuilds. So we have 4 at this time, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Velma, for the update. And I guess you guys can head back to
Thank you.
IT&E Fort.
Back to the campus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
nice. Good to see you.
Chairman Cyrock, or Chairman Angelo,
Yes.
one thing I'd like to bring up is we will be filing our annual ETC certification request. We will get those documents into the commission.
Yeah, I had that on my notes. I was going to bring that up, but I got the. Good to see you, man. Yeah, always. Yeah, please submit your draft boilerplate, and then we'll process it and get it back to you as soon as possible. Okay?
Okay. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. Will you coordinate that through Velma or Janice? Mr. Carrera?
We'll file it through with Janice.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we finished with the Docomo and IT&E updates. Next would be the update from CUC on the 3 islands. I'd like to offer like a 5-minute break just to, if you want to get your notes put together and just take a break if you have to use the restroom or whatever. So we'll go off, we'll come back on in about 5 minutes.
possible.
Yeah. 11:30. How was California?
Oh, it was lovely. It was much needed. I came back refreshed, ready to do the hard work.
Ready to go back to battle, right?
During
Yeah,
the
yeah,
election
right there.
season at that. Super typhoon season, election season.
Janet,
Very crazy stuff.
Mr. Kirkwa,
Commish, Luna?
we are in break, right?
Yeah, we're on break.
Janet, what is your, can I have your telephone?
She's on permanent break. She left the office.
Jesus Christ.
You want her? You want her phone number?
Yeah?
Oscar, you have a pen and paper to write it down?
I got it.
670.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I should give this out. Let me email it to you because she did ask about, she wanted to have you call her, so I don't want to call out the numbers.
Yeah.
This will be the status of the 3 islands, power, water, and wastewater. And you can keep it concise, Mr. Watson. I know, I don't want this, meeting to stretch out. Just, I know you guys are getting things done, and just the highlights.
Okay.
And then if there's any questions, the commissioners, they'll ask you individually, okay?
Ready?
You got the floor
Okay.
and the chair.
Yeah, I'd like to report, we do still have approximately 3,000 customers without power.
That's down 1,000 from the last meeting, right?
About that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where are these customers mainly located? Saipan?
Most of them are in Saipan and a good portion in Rhoda. We have, in Saipan, we have about 81% restored. In Tinian, we have 95% restored. And in Rhoda, approximately 23% restored. It was just week before last, we got our engines, 2 engines up and running in Rhoda. Had our mechanics spending the night or weeks in the power plant, working basically around the clock to get those restored.
So they are working overtime.
The mechanics work some overtime. We have discontinued all overtime except for emergency situations
So they're-
until such time that the legislature can pass for a $40 million line of credit, which we requested back in April.
I understand.
Had we received that with the urgency that we feel that others evidently don't feel the same, we probably would have had power restored to all the islands. But we have had to place a hold. We eliminated premium pay, we eliminated overtime, and we have put a hold on contracts. You have to have money to pay. You have to pay for restoration before FEMA will reimburse you.
Yeah, that's the conundrum that you face.
Yes, and no one is stepping up other than the Senate to attempt to help CUC. So as cost-saving initiatives, we have stopped premium pay, we've stopped overtime, and we've delayed contracts for equipment, material, and labor, all of which you have to restore power.
This is due to a cash crunch.
Yes, and, a lot of people think, GPA, they have a mutual aid agreement with us. They don't do that mutual aid for free. We have to pay them, and we still owe them over $11 million. We don't have an endless supply of money. As a matter of fact, we're in the red. We owe more than what we have. So we're stretching out the dollars just to maintain the ability to pay fuel for each month, for keep our customers who do have power. Otherwise, we're at a great risk of losing the whole power plant due to not being able to pay Mobile. Mobile is not going to deliver fuel to us on credit. They have to have cash payment. So, so that is our largest, greatest need is funding. We've already expended, this restoration has cost us 70 to 90 million, and we're still pursuing, and I'll let our CFO speak more about it, our financial.
Mr. Watson, you pretty much summarized your situation by just saying no
Yeah.
money, no
And it
gas.
is very frustrating, not just for me and the workers for CUC, but all of those customers that have still no power for over 120 days.
Sure.
It's it's sad that we have to be in this situation we are, because we have to have legislation approval before we can get the funding necessary to restore power.
May I ask a question?
Good. Mr. Watson, the Vice Chairman has a question for you.
Quick question. This loan request that you sent to the legislature, does it include using restricted funds for as collateral for the loan?
For the commercial and government side only, not the customer, not the residential.
Okay. And that proposal's with the, is it favorable by the Senate or
It's
the
in the
House?
legislation house.
Okay.
And I understand they're scheduling a meeting between the House committee and the Senate committee.
Yeah, joint.
So it's gonna go to the joint, right?
Yeah, they're
So,
going to joint
my
conference.
understanding? Okay.
It's the only way to solve this.
Well, hopefully the joint session convenes real quick and make a decision in it.
Well, they're instructed to come up with a compromise and get it done. Because if they don't, then that means, to me, it's a failure of the legislature. Because they're coming together, and they both have their sides, and they can compromise, and they can make both sides win. Because the loser right now is CUC.
Yeah, we put our request in April. It's been 4 months.
I hope the best, and again.
Just to correct that, I'm sorry, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Just to, not to correct your saying, but, I think I've heard you and the executive director mention that it's to help CUC, to save CUC, but in reality, it's to help the people of the CNMI and to save the people of the CNMI.
Well, that goes without saying.
We all need power, right? I think there's a little bit, I get it's semantics, but I'm hoping everybody realizes that this is just the first step. We get the RFP is going to take also some time to negotiate and discuss, right, and to make sure that things are kosher in terms of the term sheets. But it just boggles the mind that there's so much delay in this, right? No business can operate in this kind of delay, and then the people still demand and expect CUC to be agile and to be able to serve the community as quickly as possible, to repair things as quickly as possible. It's just mind-boggling that there's a lack of logic here, right? Within the community, within almost everybody involved, that's not in favor of this. Sorry, just quick with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we got a little understanding of what's going on with the legislature. Anything with like U.S. Congress or like FEMA? Like, do they have like an anticipated date or any emphasis on getting FEMA to get your reimbursements out quicker?
No, they are helping us. They've been helping us since day one. They denied an advance payment for restoration.
Yeah.
That would have helped, but that was denied.
Has there been any
So far,
reimbursements?
we haven't been able to get approval to get funding.
Did they give a reason, FEMA, why they denied?
No.
Do they have to?
We I don't work for FEMA, so
Yeah.
whether they,
I know.
I know it's out of your control, but
But I think FEMA has stepped up to the plate. They've done their work, and understanding you have to pay for services before FEMA reimburses us.
And-
They are expediting payment once we pay for our service and we give an application. They are doing their part, and they are helping us in transportation, just like the Docomo and IT&E indicated. They helped them. They've helped us.
Well, even our genset account.
I understand CUC's been doing their part. They've been making payments since this, even before the storm started, with like storm preparation, and FEMA hasn't reimbursed you guys yet?
Yeah, they
Not a
have
single-
300 plus that thousand for Sinlaku, and we got reimbursed for YouTube last week for 8-point-some million. That keeps us afloat.
That was only 8 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, again, the comment that the best, or the people that are most important in this equation to me are the people, the ratepayers. You guys are professional. You run CUC, and your job is to deliver power. And then that's your part of the, but the ratepayers who depend on that power for their livelihoods, and yourself too. We all do. So again, yeah, Mr. Commissioner Mendiola, yeah, it is a kind of a question that I've been asking for 48 years since I've come here. Why certain things just don't move along, and it's something that needs to be addressed. I think, as a CNMI island community, that to eliminate any type of politicking or any type of who's winning this battle, you know, just get down to the facts and pass it. Again, just remember that thing with our retirement fund. It was just getting the facts put together and then just pass it, and it did pass. So I don't know what, I know they hold up the Senate added amendments that the House rejects, and but they need to go in and there has to be a compromise. Everything is based on being compromised, or not compromised, but coming to a consensus. So when are they announced this joint session?
I don't have that information.
Senator, I know you guys are ready to move, right, for the joint? Who calls? Is it the speaker and the president meet and come up with a date? But since the House is the one that's objecting to the amendments, wouldn't they be the one to initiate the time to meet?
I don't think so. I was just looking at the calendar and the legislature's website, and I see the bill was initiated by the House and it's like
Okay, Senator, Mr. Ernest.
House Bill 24-107 was passed by the House. It went to the Senate.
It got amended.
The Senate made amendments 17 days ago, sent it back to the House.
And
it's listed on the House's agenda for this coming Thursday as a Senate communication. It is not, to my knowledge, on the bill calendar for Thursday.
But they announced to the media that they're going into a joint session, joint committee. I don't know if, the papers sometimes you can't believe, but Arnold at Variety, he normally checks his facts, and he said there was the plan to come together in the joint session as soon as possible. Yeah. So, Mr. Ernest, can you, well, you probably contacted them already, like both, the House Speaker and the Senate President, about a schedule?
Not regarding this specific draft of the bill. I don't presume to tell them when to call meetings and what to act on.
No, not the one to tell them, but when will they possibly take place? Can you report back to the board, right? And if they have the information that help them too.
Yes, but Chairman, what I can say is, I assume there'll be some sort of a conference committee, but you're the first person to tell me that that's actually the plan. So I have heard nothing about this. You and I have been in the legislature long enough to see that that's probably where it's headed, but you're the first person to say to me that that is where it's headed.
Okay.
So I don't think the House has actually rejected the Senate's version yet. I don't think that the House has considered it yet.
I would have to agree with that. Unless the House officially rejects the Senate version, then a conference committee will be created and a joint committee will be.
So it's on the agenda.
It doesn't seem like the House has formally rejected the Senate version.
But it's on the agenda as a.
It's listed as a communication from the Senate.
From the Senate?
Yeah, it's just a communication.
So the House didn't reject it.
Yes, the House hasn't rejected it.
Okay.
Correct.
They still need to take actions.
Thank you for your clarification.
Okay, then,
On a more positive note, all three islands have 100% water.
great. Great. Later, we have a question about that. The Vice Chairman it's a matter of the PFAS.
Oh, yeah.
But we can do that later.
Yeah.
We need a clarification. There was an EPA report that we just needed a clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, then,
Mr. Chair?
yes, Mr. Cyrock?
Are you moving on now, or are you still on status report for power, water, and wastewater?
Still on the status report, power, water, and wastewater, because it's open to anybody to ask questions, or if Mr. Watson has further things to say.
I have a couple comments to Mr. Watson, if I may.
Sure.
Mr. Watson, I read your 88-page report. Again, very thorough, very good report. As always, I was happy to see that you identified as one of your meetings the PUC meeting per our request at the last meeting. Thank you for including us in your report.
You're welcome.
I know that, and I don't mean to take away from the importance and the priority of restoration and financial, but I wanted to go through just a couple of the items that you had in your report. There was some discussion as to the utility master plan and the integrated resource plan. I don't think the commission has gotten copies of that utility master plan or the currently reviewed integrated resource plan. Could we get copies of those?
Yeah, Attorney Cyrock, we don't have the master plan report yet. That's being done through the CNMI government through a grant from the Department of War. I understand that they're waiting for to extend that, so they're waiting for the CNMI central government to give them the go-ahead, to give them more time and funds to complete the master plan. However, we do have the integrated resource plan that we can provide you a copy of.
All right, because that I think goes along with Commissioner Mendiola's concerns about where we're going down the future with this.
It sure does. It's very critical.
And the consumption level. Okay, thank you. When I read that, I thought that the utility master plan was already in place, but thank you for clarifying that for me.
Okay.
How long do you think it will be before that does become, I won't say effective, but is completed?
I had a meeting with GHD. They're the consultant working on that master plan, and they have not heard back from CNMI when to resume.
Okay. What kind of items will be in that utility master plan? What is that going to consist of?
Okay, that's
what information?
All for the water, wastewater, and power plants, as well as distribution, transmission distribution, all aspects of the master plan. It's quite extensive.
So in other words, it provides benchmark periods for doing certain items?
Yes, and early on, the Department of War, who funded this, said that this will give them a roadmap on what projects to help fund.
All right. All right. I was glad to see that you had hired I'm going to call it a third-party consultant NLR to review the power purchase agreement. I see that that's still ongoing. That review is still ongoing.
That's correct. We are in negotiation still, revising the PPA agreement and the interconnection agreement. And the National Laboratory of the Rockies, who's the third party you referred to, are helping us on that, and they've been giving some very good feedback.
All right. When do you think, do you sort of have an estimated timeline of when that's going to come to the commission for review?
I'll let Tina speak on that. I have my idea, and I think she probably has a more firm date in mind.
All right.
Would you like us to discuss it down in old business item I? Because we could get into more detail when we get to the item specific to the solar project.
That would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed that it was just part of his report, so that's why I was asking about it. One last issue, and it's, I'm not trying to be negative in any way at all, but I know that the non-revenue water has always been a concern of CUC as well as Judge Carter and the EPA. And I noticed that your rankings, even though, for example, the difference between last month and this month was a decrease for Saipan, a small decrease. It went up on Tinian. You're at 56%, a little more than 56% of water loss on Tinian, and you're at 49% on Rhoda. You're at 57% on Saipan. Those are not really good numbers. I think the national average is somewhere around 10 or under 10. I'm not sure exactly. I used to know that number, but I don't. But when you looked at, you had a graph of the overall, the whole 2025 month-by-month water losses in there, and when you look at that and run that to date of August 26th, there's not really much of a variance. And I remember when we first started talking about this early on, a couple years ago, and let me say this, when I was at CUC, I know it was around 60%. So you're at 57 now. What seems to be the problem of CUC being able to get a handle on the non-revenue water and the water loss?
Yeah,
because I think we remember before we talked about it, and you indicated, well, you were going to change all the water meters out, put water meters on the tanks, and you were going to be able to start tracking that loss. But it doesn't seem like over the last year and a half, there's been much movement in that area. And I'm not pointing the finger at CUC at all.
I can explain. I can explain that. We did Dollar TSA tank service area as a benchmark to use to learn what we learned, to repeat it throughout the Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. We were able to reduce that from 78% when we started down to 7% non-revenue water. However, we had a couple setbacks in the last 4 months called typhoons that ripped up water lines. We had hundreds of water main leaks that we had to go out and repair. So you're probably seeing the report, those months had an NA on it because it was very skewed. One of the positive outcomes of that, the vegetation was cleared so we could actually see undocumented lines and leaks and repair those that may have been going on for ages. And I want to thank CPUC for approving the purchase of new meters. We've already ordered their own shipment, and that was in the tune of $2.2 million worth of water meters and AMI system. We're going to piggyback off of the power success on the Tesco system and using their hub to be able to get those reads to our desk immediate, day-to-day, real time. And we're doing that with the production meters as well as the customer meters. And we've, with the input from Judge Carter on his last visit in January, he broke us out and demanded that we come up with a plan. So right in his courtroom, we got a plan together. We've implemented that plan, and we actually are doing checking every service from the door, from their usage out to the main, and doing listening devices to listen for mains. But we got specialized staff doing specialized tasks now, and we're making some headway, and you will see that non-revenue water drop below 50. I predict it's going to drop below 30. Right now we're concentrating on our largest tank service area, which is our Isley tank service area, and making tremendous progress. So I think you will see in all the territories, even in Guam, the non-revenue water is over 60% in Guam. In Samoa, it's 60 or above. But even in the Virgin Islands, it's at that rate. But we are going to become an example for all Pacific Island, and we will achieve that goal. We've got the team together now.
The current rate case has a water component to it for the water division, an increase in the water rate. Is that correct?
Yes, and in that rate case, they've made an assumption, or autonomous.com, that we will, in fact, bring it down to 30% in those 5 years. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have that low of rate increase.
Okay, good. That goes for both islands, because I see that.
Yes.
Saipan, you've got that rate, but you got really 56 on Tinian and 49 on Rota. Those are still pretty high numbers. So
they are.
The plan that you've got is for all the islands?
Yes, and we've already started implementing it by sending teams down there to help them locate leaks. In Tinian, for example,